Welcome back to Numerical Methods, Episode 9. Newton's divided differences. Add a point, add a term, nothing thrown away. Last time we built the polynomial through 3 points, but we ended on a problem. The polynomial we found was 3x squared plus x plus 2. Add one new point and every building block changes. You have to redo the whole thing. We want to avoid that. So here's the plan. Build the polynomial one step at a time. Each new point just adds a piece. Nothing already done gets touched. Let's build it, one point at a time. Watch the shape I'm going to use. It looks strange at first. Each new term carries one more factor, and each factor is 0 at an earlier point. That's the whole idea. Let's find the numbers. Put in the first point x equals 0. Every term with a factor of x minus 0 dies. So a0 is just the first value, 2. Now the second point x equals 1. The last term dies because it carries x minus 1. What's left is a0 plus a1 times 1. We know a0 is 2. So 2 plus a1 is 6. That makes a1 4. Notice what a1 is. 6 minus 2 over 1 minus 0. The change in value over the change in x. A slope. That ratio has a name. We call it a divided difference. This idea is used throughout the method. Let's set up the table properly. Start with the plain values in the first column. First differences go in the next column. Between each pair of neighbors, later value minus earlier over the gap in x. Same for the next pair. 16 minus 6 over 2 minus 1. That's 10. Now the second difference. We do it again, but on the first differences. 10 minus 4 over the full span, 2 minus 0. So there's the rule, in plain words. Any difference is the one below minus the one above, divided by the outer two x's. Why divide by those two? Because a difference measures a rate. Column 1 used a gap of 1x, column 2 spans 2 x's, each column reaches wider. Here's what the table gives us. The Newton coefficients are the top edge, the very first entry of each column. 2, 4, 3, those are our A0, A1, A2. We read them straight off. Now build the polynomial. Take the coefficients and hang each one on its factors. Clean up the x minus 0. That's just x. So 4x and 3x times x minus 1. Open the last piece. 3x times x minus 1 is 3x squared minus 3x. Put it all together. 2 plus 4x plus 3x squared minus 3x. Collect the x terms. 4x minus 3x is 1x, and we are done. Now look, same polynomial as last time. 3x squared plus x plus 2. We got there a completely different way. That's not luck. There's only one polynomial through those points. So both methods must give the same answer. Now we add a new point, 320. Watch the table. Nothing above changes. We only compute the new bottom edge. New first difference. 20 minus 16 over 3 minus 2. That's equal to 4. New second difference. 4 minus 10 over 3 minus 1. Minus 6 over 2. That is minus 3. And the new top entry. Minus 3 over 3 minus 0. Minus 6 over 3. That is minus 2. That minus 2 is the only new number we need. Everything else we keep. So the polynomial just gains one term. Minus 2 times x minus 1 times x minus 2. This is what we said earlier. Add a point, add a term, nothing thrown away. Multiply the new term out. X times x minus 1 times x minus 2 is x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x. times minus 2, then add the parabola. We land on a cubic. Minus 2x cubed plus 9x squared minus 3x plus 2. One thing worth noticing, that top number came out non-zero. That's why we now have a cubic, not a parabola. If the new point had sat right on the old parabola, 3x squared plus x plus 2, this entry would have been 0, and the polynomial would have stayed the same parabola. Let's understand something we keep seeing. In the parabola, the top difference 3 became the x squared coefficient. In the cubic, minus 2 became the x cubed coefficient. Every time, the top difference is the leading coefficient. Here's why. Look back at the Newton form. The last term is the top difference times a stack of factors. Every other term is shorter, few factors, lower degree. So only this last term can produce the highest power. And when you multiply out those factors, the leading piece is just x to the n. Each factor gives 1x. So the highest power comes out with exactly that top difference in front. That's the fact. The number at the top of the table is always the coefficient of the highest power. Hold on to it. The next result leans on it. One more idea. Divided differences are not just arithmetic. They are derivatives in another form. Start small. The first divided difference, value change over x change. That's a slope between 2 points. Now recall the mean value theorem. On a smooth curve, somewhere between 2 points, the tangent slope equals that straight line slope. Call that spot xi. So the first difference literally equals a derivative, somewhere in between. That's the whole idea. Now let's push it to the top of the table. Take our interpolating polynomial p. It matches f at every one of the n plus 1 points. So the difference f minus p is 0 at all of them. So here's the next step. Between any two zeros of g, its slope must be 0 somewhere. That's Rolle's theorem. So g prime has n zeros. Do it again and again. Each round drops 1 zero. After n rounds, the nth derivative of g has exactly 1 zero. Call it xi. Now open up that nth derivative. It's f's nth derivative minus p's. And p's nth derivative is simple. P is degree n with leading coefficient the top difference. Differentiate n times, you get n factorial times that difference. Set it to 0 at xi. Move things around, and there it is. So the top of the table equals the nth derivative divided by n factorial. At some point in the interval, arithmetic and calculus give the same answer. Remember this. It's how we bring in slopes next time, and it's the basis of error formula later. Exercise number 1. Build the table for these 3 points. Then read off the polynomial. First difference is 1 and 4. Second difference 1. Read the top row. The coefficients are 1, 1, 1. So the Newton form is 1 plus x times x minus 1, which tidies to x squared plus 1. Exercise 2. Take that same set and add 1 point. 4, 29. Only the new bottom edge changes. New first difference 19, new second difference 5, new third difference is 1. The first 3 coefficients don't move. You just append one term, x times x minus 1 times x minus 3. If instead the point had sat on x squared plus 1, that new coefficient would be 0 and nothing would change. Exercise 3 is a quick one. For the cubic through our 4 points, What's the leading coefficient without expanding? Use the rule from a moment ago. The leading coefficient is just the top divided difference. We already built that number -2, so no expansion needed. So that's the Newton's way. Build a table once, read the coefficients of the top, and when new data comes, just add a row and a term. It's everything Lagrange gave us, but it grows, nothing wasted. Next time a twist. What if we know more than the value at a point? What if we also know the slope? We will match both. That's Hermite. And that derivative fact we just proved is exactly what makes it work. See you there.